All right, this meeting is live streamed. Okay. Hi, I'm Rob, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host Gary, and might know him as the Superior Mailman. And today we're delivering real talk, strong values, a few laughs along the way. Okay, it's still going.
I'm ready. Oh,
Um, we're going. So
I know.
this show is where grit meets growth, where values are just talked about, they're lived. We're going to dive into stories, challenge, and remind us that we're all humans trying to figure this out. Now it's your go.
Gotcha. For the past 2 years, we have laid the foundation brick by brick and root by root, building your core values. And now Rob and I are discussing how to utilize those core values into becoming the man that you want to be. And today, we're going to be talking about rebuilding trust after it's been broken. And we have a very special guest, and it is Eric Wood from Warwick, Rhode Island. He is a father of four, and he is going to talk about how he has had to rebuild trust, and we are going to also talk about that stuff. So, welcome, Eric, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ed. Hey,
Thank you very much, everybody.
uh, so what would be when this the foundation of rebuilding trust if something was to happen? Can you give us like what would be the start? There.
Yeah, so for me, I think it all goes back to communication. Communication is key. I think you really need to talk and understand at the same time. So this is active listening, which as a man, I can honestly say sometimes my active listening could definitely use some work. But actually looking at the situation, taking in everything that's happening in the moment, and not jumping to conclusions before you actually know what's going on. And I think once you're able to communicate, honestly, that's where you can get to the part where you can apologize sincerely. And, there can be other steps that can, make things better.
Excellent. So I feel like that a lot of trust breaks down when communication does falter. You are 100% correct because or even if you can say you're listening, but if you're not doing the active listening, then the words go in and the words go out, and nothing is done. And I am guilty of that, or was guilty of that in previous relationships. So,
No, it makes total sense. I mean, honestly, I almost it's almost the equivalent of when Charlie Brown listens to the teacher in school, and all you're hearing is the mom, 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 and not actually listening to what's being said. And I'm sure my wife, that would be one of her biggest pet peeves is he actually hearing what I'm saying, or is he just going, uh-huh? And that's about it.
gotcha. So, can you tell us a time that trust had that you are personally responsible for breaking the trust and how you rebuilt it?
So for us, one of the biggest and hardest situations we went through, my son, who was completely had no medical issues whatsoever, in sixth grade, was all of a sudden diagnosed with epilepsy out of nowhere. He did a play at school, came home, said he had a headache. And I said, all right, well, take a nap. Went to go wake him up, and he went into a seizure. And being that I actually worked with individuals with developmental disabilities, I right away knew like what was happening. So we took him to the doctors. Our whole entire world was turned upside down. He would sleep in bed with my wife every single night. I would sleep on the couch. So there goes your intimacy out the window. Also, he's, I want to say like 11 medications he takes for his epilepsy. My wife did not know and did not trust anybody at this point because she thought she was going to be the only person that could keep him safe, make sure he wasn't, passing away in his sleep or anything crazy like that. And she didn't even trust me with giving him the medication that he should be taking, which hurt. It was very, it hurt me deeply that she wouldn't trust me on that. We went back and forth on it. We did family counseling for a little while, but what ended up actually, helping in the situation was us in that family counseling. We were able to talk it out of, all right, what are you concerned about? I think you're going to give him the wrong medication. Understood. What we ended up doing is she made me this whole chart and everything on how the medication's supposed to be set up. And I took it upon myself to be with her in refilling all his medications, which is a very timely process. We do it every single week, and just letting her know, because she's had guys let her down in the past pretty bad, but letting her know that I'm here, I'm listening, I understand what's going on. You may process it differently than I do, but know that I am just as vigilant as you are, with helping our child out.
Excellent. And how did that go over?
It actually worked out very well. It took a couple of years. I'm not going to say it happened overnight, but it took some time. Then she's now much, much, much better about knowing that, yes, I'm gonna give him his medication on time. I'm gonna make sure I'm paying attention to him and he's paying attention to the situations he's in, so he doesn't, have a seizure and not tell anybody about it. And when we go to CCD every week and things like that, I make sure his emergency medication's on me at all times and everything else. And she just knows that, I care as much as she does. It's not like her past relationships where it's one-sided like that. So it's been very good. It's been very good.
Excellent. It's, with the whole cheat sheet, I actually enjoy that stuff. It makes people sound a little slow.
I
When
know.
they need the cheat sheet,
I'm a visual person though, and
as am
that's
I.
exactly what I told her. I said, "You can throw a bunch of names of medications at me until I actually see what that looks like.
Yeah.
That's when I'm going to make that connection in my mind."
All right. Excellent. So, Rob, I know that we discussed during when we were putting notes together for this. Can you tell us a story? Tell Eric and I a story of when you had to rebuild trust in your life. And I know that you didn't have the opportunity to rebuild it with your marriage, but was there any of the time with your daughter that you had to rebuild trust? Is he there? Oh,
Yes, I'm here. So, and and I guess I had to learn the hard way that sometimes rebuilding trust, you can only do what you can do, and sometimes you're not going to get that trust back. Once you break trust, it is very hard to get it back. And even in like Eric said, it took years for his wife to trust him, and it's not even trust he broke; it's trust was broken before him, I guess. And so I had to learn that what I do today is I have to show up consistently as the man trustworthy, so that I don't break anybody else's trust, I guess. So, and it is hard because it's like I did break a lot of trust in the past because I didn't know any better. But knowing better now, I work harder not to do it anymore. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
yeah, it does. It
It
does.
does.
Absolutely.
Oh,
So for me, like breaking trust is like, and I've said this before, like when I was married, I used to lie to my wife all the time. And breaking trust is, it's a little lie here, it's a little lie tomorrow, it's another lie the next day. It's like you can be forgiven when you do something stupid or wrong, but when you do it again and again and again, then you break the trust. So I, like, for me personally, I think the biggest person I had to rebuild trust with was myself. I couldn't trust myself that I was growing, that I was becoming the man I wanted to be. It took a long time, a lot of this work, and a few poor relationships. Actually, I think I realized that I was moving in the right direction with my daughter. Like, she trusts me, and she shows it every day, and I will not break that trust. I
No,
will never lie to her.
and
Um,
when a child shows that, it is the most meaningful thing in the world. That's for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. So. But for me, that was it. I just, I had to trust myself that I could build trust, or that I had to work on building myself up to trust me that the decisions I made were good. So, so a question for you, both of you guys. When everything that you've known starts to crumble, what is the first thing that you grab onto? Is it your pride? Is it your pain? Or is it your principles?
So I would say for me, I'm going to kind of go in a different direction. I actually lean on my faith more than anything. I think being raised Catholic as a child and bringing that into, you know, life as I've gotten older, it makes more sense now than it ever did when I was a kid. I overcoming, having my abusive childhood and everything else, it's helped me to kind of put things in perspective and understand that things are temporary. They're not always going to be that way. You always got to be fighting for that next, that next good thing that comes along. And there's a quote that I always hold, pretty solid to myself, and that is, fall down 7 times, get up 8. And I feel that if you live that way, there is not really anything that can knock you down.
I like that. That's good. Hey, Rob, before you answer that question, look at there's a lot of going on in the chat, and I'm too special to talk
give me
and
yeah.
chat.
Go ahead and answer it. Well, let me look at the
Yeah,
YouTube and pull
I
it up
tried. I
for
can't
you.
do it all. I won't be looking at the screen. So for me, I think that originally when I was
Hey,
first starting this
Rob,
work,
before you
or
answer that question, look.
whoop,
Oops. Sorry. Got it.
oh, uh,
Oh.
when I first started this work, I think I would grab onto my pain or my pride. Now I'm strictly with my principles. I stand behind my principles all the time. And I know that if my world is crumbling around me, that my principles will save me. And if you can't find trust within me, then it is what it is. But I will not betray my principles.
And I think you have to be true to yourself at the same time. And that's where the principles come into things. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Are you ready?
Okay. Yep.
We have a bunch of people. Says Cliff. He said he loved the story about the medications and seizures. Sounds like they had to build trust around a new difficult situation. And then he turns around and says, I used to tell people, I always trust you until you give me a reason not to. Then it's very different to get back, but not impossible. Joel says, would you guys say that forgiveness is a way to fix broken trust? Or is it just sort of a band aid? Would it fall under going against your values? That's a very good question.
It is. So, Joel, for my thoughts on that is that forgiveness is for you. So if I forgive Rob, that's so that I can move on. It has nothing to do with Rob. So it's not really. I don't think forgiveness can fix. It's a band-aid or can fix anything. It just helps you move on.
That's true. And forgiving and forgetting are two different things. It's very easy to say, oh yeah, I forgive this person. But are you really forgiving them, or is this something that's going to come up over and over and over again? And it's getting to that point and being like, oh yeah, I don't need to worry about that anymore. So forgive and forget would be a more complete way to
Well,
look at things.
sure, we're in different rabbit hole here, but so if I forgive you,
Hmm.
I won't bring it up ever again.
Hmm.
But I haven't forgotten.
Exactly.
But if
Exactly.
you continue on that pattern with the same behaviors, then it will. It's you that's bringing it up,
Hmm.
and then therefore you have just broken trust. If not the first time, most likely again, and then we
Hmm.
have an issue.
Nope, that makes
And
sense.
I don't think that you can regain that trust if there's been forgiveness and you are aware that forgiveness. So now you are on doing your best to be better, and you continue down that path. Then I feel like it's it's much harder to rebuild it. So
Nope, that makes
that's
sense.
my thoughts. So Rob, what are you grabbing
So,
on that first question? You grabbing your pride, your pain, or your principles?
Grabbing my pride, my pain, or my principles. Man, I'll grab everything. What are you talking about? I'll grab anything on the way out. It's like,
You only got two hands, brother.
um, yeah, I know. I only got two, but you gave me three choices, man. I'll grab it all. But anyways, I used to grab pride, and I think pride is the first thing you will grab because it's like, oh no, 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 wait, 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 that's not me, that's not me. Um, but I guess it's principle that really matters the most out of the pride and everything else. So, um,
Okay. So you're going with the principles. That's good. I said the same thing.
yeah. Um, it, Going back to Joel's question, though, he's asking is if you forgive somebody, how do you trust them after you forgive them?
Yeah. You have to trust yourself
Yeah.
that you will give them that opportunity.
And there has to be some act of, reciprocally from that person that, they're showing you that you can continue to provide that trust for them. I was in a million relationships before I was with my wife, and I got cheated on in every single one. So
Wow.
to go into a relationship and be able to trust somebody with your full heart takes a lot, and it takes seeing a lot at the same time.
I agree. But you also have to trust your wife. Just because every other girl cheated on you does not make your wife. You can't. And Rob and I actually discussed that also, where you cannot, or I feel like you cannot hold your current significant other responsible or treat them poorly because of a way that you were treated in the past by somebody else.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can understand where they're coming from, but like we had talked about, and one thing I'm gonna jump around, Rob, like always. It's in here somewhere. I don't know where, but we talked about
All the way at the bottom. You've already jumped around. It's
okay,
okay.
the red flag thing. You
Yes,
got to
it is a
trust
red flag.
yourself
Yeah.
to see red flags. And we had discussed resentment, and if my significant other held resentment toward her ex, but took it out on me, I could understand that and try to work with that. But in my life, my rules, I will not allow somebody to resent me for something that I did not do.
No,
So
it's
she would have to
absolutely.
find a way to get through it and over it, and I'm there to help. But if she cannot find that way, then it is what it is.
Oh, that makes total sense. Um, just takes the right person sometimes too.
Absolutely.
It really does.
All right, Rob, you take off wherever you want because since I jumped around, I don't know where I'm at now.
Well, okay, since we're talking about red flags, we'll back up a couple questions because sometimes that's just who that person is. They can't let go of some of their past. How do you trust? Because trust isn't just about saying, "Oh, I trust you," you're like, but it's also saying, "I trust because I know who you are. You are going to steal the money, so if I do give you the money, you're going to run off with it, and that's okay." There's a trust there too that says, "I know who you are. You may not be up to my standard, but you're still. I know who you are. I trust you." So
You
it's
lost me
like,
there.
okay. Mm.
If I know who you are and I'm going to give you money knowing that you're not going to pay me back or you're going to take it all, that's just acceptance. That's me accept, and I think that's your word for the week. That's me accepting who you are.
Yes.
Okay. Doesn't mean I trust you. I trust you're going to do the wrong thing. That's for sure. But I'm accepting that.
And that does become a
Yes.
pattern sometimes where, like, I know in my situation and the past relationships I had a pattern of finding these people that I thought I could fix when you first get into the relationships.
Mm.
And you continue doing that over and over and over again, and you're stabbed in the heart every single time. And you don't learn your lesson, even though you say, "Oh, no, we're going to get it right this time." Nope, it's a learned pattern that takes a lot to break out of.
Absolutely. Man, we go down 100
Yeah.
rabbit holes right now, Rob. With this guy. I think
That's
the
good.
majority of the men that do this work, and the men that I surround myself with and whatnot, they have all, most of them, have thought that they get into a relationship and they will fix the woman into being the woman that they want them to be.
Hmm.
And we
Absolutely.
say it to our clients, we say it to everybody that we know, the only person that you can control is you. The only person that you can fix is you. And that's it. It's you can guide her into walking the path of you or to becoming aware, but there's nothing that you can do to fix her or change her. And the minute that you accept that, that's when shit gets good.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Stuff gets good. Sorry, mom, if you're watching. So,
The comments. Hold on. Let me get the comments out of the way.
go ahead.
So Joel, he's saying that he liked what he said about forgiveness. People don't realize that trusting yourself is huge. That's why a lot of people falter. Cliff, he's saying forgiveness is giving up any hope for a better past. It's to set you free, not make them feel at all warm and fuzzy inside. And Cliff goes on to say, only through actions can a person show that they have changed to a point where you can trust them. It's the story of the frog and the scorpion. Ah, that's a beautiful story.
Good story.
Hmm.
And then Joel goes to say, you said every relationship ended up with cheating. Would you blame yourself or would you blame the other person, or a combination of the two?
So, I mean, honestly, I
Yeah.
at the beginning, I would say I blamed myself every single time. What could I have done differently? Um, what did I like this person too much? Did I show too much, you know, being a gentleman and stuff like that? But one thing I've noticed as I've gotten older, you tend to put things in more perspective. Like I just turned 47. So in getting to this age now, I do understand that sometimes it's not me. It's just the way that person is hardwired. You're not going to be able to change that. And if it isn't working and it's not connecting, then that's not the right direction you should be going
Mm.
Agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
It took forever to learn
Oh,
that for me, but
in. It does. It takes a long time. It really does.
and P.S. watching, he made a comment. So
what?
your mom's watching. So
Oh,
be
cool.
watchful.
Gotcha.
You're in
Gotcha.
trouble.
Trouble.
Yeah. Uh, you need to be building trust with her. So,
She should trust me.
uh,
She should trust me that I'm going to curse, and I will apologize.
uh,
We go the
so
classic '80s commercial now. I blame my dad.
I learned it by watching you.
What do you got, Rob?
we are moving into the section about what it looks like to build a stronger relationship with trust, and how, like, a perfect example is Eric's. It's like she now trusts you with the pills because she's now emotionally safe with you because you built a good frame for her to grow on, I guess. So, and the question is, what does that feel like to you that she now trusts you versus all the other past relationships you've had?
I mean, honestly, it means the world to me. It can let me walk around with a smile on my face and know that I did something right. It also shows me that I, we've been through so many hard things. But that right there, if we could get through that, I don't think there's anything that can conquer us. And I trust that she trusts me. I trust her enough that we're going to make this work.
Okay.
You know,
So, Rob, how does that work for you?
how does emotional safety work for me?
No, that now to know that you're now building. Yes, well, to now know that you're building trust with your daughter, with Lily, with because you didn't have the trust with your ex-wife. We've established that. So, how does that feel to you now that you know that you are building trust? You are a trustworthy man in their eyes.
It's a new sensation though, because I have to constantly take my temperature on it because I was not very emotionally sound person to begin with. And so now that I have to hold myself a little bit more accountable to be emotionally in check. I have to check myself more often. So, but it feels, I feel like an old man sometimes because it's like, oh yeah, finally got it right this go round kind of deal. And it's like, man, it took me forever. So,
Is that what an old man feels like?
yeah, it
I thought it
does.
was when I wake up in the morning, my knees hurt. I was like, ah, I'm old now.
Yeah.
So for me, with building trust with my daughter and the people in my life now, it's funny because it is a great feeling, but that is where trusting myself comes in. And I have to work extra hard to trust myself that I'm doing the right thing. Um, and I don't know why it still doesn't always feel natural, but I know that I'm doing the right thing. Maybe it's because it was 40 years of not doing the right thing that it still feels awkward. But the biggest thing for me when people trust me is that I have to trust myself that I'm doing the right thing because I have lost people in my life because of who I am now. If they don't fit, they go. And that sometimes is hard. It's getting easier as I get older or as I do this more. But when you lose people because they don't align with you, it can be hard at first.
And I think age also gives you the perspective that you don't have to please everybody. It takes a long time to get to that point where not everybody's going to like you, whether it be your beliefs, no matter what it is, you're not going to be for everybody. And that's okay.
It is, absolutely. But I challenge you on the whole age thing. I don't think a lot of people get that with age because I know plenty of people older than me that are still fighting to be what everybody wants them to be.
It's true. It's true. Some of us mature a little
It's
bit.
but it's great when you know that you are who you want to be, and that if it's me that doesn't like it, then I go, and you're okay with that, and that is a
All
great
right,
feeling. What you got, Rob?
we got some chat comments.
All right,
All
go ahead.
right, so Clift is going, trust is not black and white. It has to do with faith as well. Having faith, you can trust it. And then Joel also comments about the age. Speaking of age, gentlemen, would you say age is a factor when it comes to trust? What does that it does trust grow or diminish as you age? Impossible. Everyone likes it.
So I would say, in my side of things, I think age is what brought me to where I am today. Um, but that's also knowing the world around me at the same time. You need to always be learning. I truly feel that. And once you can get rid of that scared teenage guy that's inside of you that can't commit to things, can't, like, oh, somebody's going to steal my girl, all this stuff. Once you can let that go, it's so freeing and it's so good.
Yeah, that was good. The teenage boy. That's the little boy that's inside of all of us. That he kicks and screams, and he brings to light the fears that are irrational. That someone's going to steal your wife. Someone's going to do this to you. No one's doing anything.
That's right.
It may happen, but it doesn't happen to you. It just happens, and you deal with it when it happens. So I like that. That was good.
It's a good question.
And
So
yes,
Joel
Joel.
says,
Everybody likes Joel. It's true.
Joel made a comment. He was like, "Oh, maturity more than age, I would say." No question mark. So he's in other words. So I guess maturity would be that word. So
What
I
word?
can agree with that. That's true. Not so much just the age, but the actual maturity level. It is what he's saying. Which yes, because as you said, Gary, not everybody matures at the same at the
Right.
same level. So yes, that is true. It needs to go hand in hand.
Absolutely. All right. What else you got there, Rob? I don't. Okay, I have a question for you then, Eric. What is harder for you, trusting again or being trustworthy again?
For me, I would say trusting again is
Okay.
hard for me. I feel I've had enough people in my life that have really let me down. That if you cross me, it's that whole fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice type situation. That's probably the hardest thing for me is rebuilding that trust again, especially having so many, bad situations in the past that I've dealt with.
Okay. How about you, Rob?
you're gonna have to repeat your question again. I didn't write it down.
What's
Neither
harder
did
for you,
you.
trusting again or being trustworthy again? So is it harder for you to trust somebody or for you to become trustworthy?
That's difficult because trusting somebody is very hard, but it's also just as hard to. I mean, I can be trustworthy, but it's not necessarily doesn't matter. Is somebody going to trust me or not? That's their that's their issues that they have. So trying to force somebody to trust me, I can't do that either. So
Okay. So for me, I think it's harder to trust someone else again because to be trustworthy, you could think I'm trustworthy or not, it doesn't matter to me. But it's really when it comes to being trustworthy, it's how I feel about me, for me. And I know that if am aligned with my values and my beliefs and I stand firm in who I am and what I believe, then I know that I'm trustworthy. Whether you see it or not, that doesn't matter. So,
uh, Cliff says age doesn't grow or diminish trust. I think maturity changes your standards you will accept or not accept. Joel says I would say it'd be harder to trust others. I can trust myself, especially if I'm sticking to my values and beliefs, and I
exactly.
know what is right. I agree. Good job.
Exactly what
Absolutely.
Joel said.
Heart. I gotta figure out how to heart the comments. Um, the
Yeah,
last
that's all I have for the notes.
is it?
I think.
Um, do you don't have a challenge for the listeners out there?
I do not.
Um, you don't have a recap on what trust is or what trust isn't?
Where is all that?
On page 4.
Oh, recap. I see it now. Go for it. You want to read it? You read it.
I'm about to read it because I was like, man.
I don't like reading. Go ahead.
All right, for the listeners out there, trust isn't built through grand gestures, but through consistency and truth. And if you don't need to rebuild your past, you need to build something new that can weather the next storm. Wherever you are in your life, trust needs to be built. It is one brick you can lay today. Oh, what is one brick? that you can start laying today? Dun dun dun.
And Joel has a question for Eric.
Okay. Joel has a question for Eric.
What would be your advice? What would be your advice to trust or be trusted again, Eric?
So for me, it's going to be, first of all, communication, that active listening that I talked about. You also want to be transparent in how you're feeling. My daughter right now, she's studying to be a a psychologist. So she told
Boy,
me that sometimes you got to use I statements, when you're discussing things. So, when this happens, I feel like such and such. It starts to open up the conversation between you two, and making that eye contact. I cannot say enough how much somebody looking me in the eyes and saying, "Hey, I will never ever do that again," and I mean that. Making that connection is huge. It's absolutely huge. But everything is going to start with communication. We spend too much of our lives, and I can honestly say in Rhode Island, we do this a lot. Lock ourselves in our homes. Nobody goes outside. Nobody talks to each other. You see the neighbor like, hey, like running the house. When I lived down south for a little while down in Tampa, everybody was sitting at the edge of their driveways, hanging out, having a good time. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. We spend too much of our lives staying away from people and not communicating. COVID made that much worse. I think when everybody finally got out of the house, everybody went crazy because they didn't know how to do it anymore, where they would actually interact with people. Relationships are the same way. If you have that communication and you can be honest with each other, and that's with your wife, that's with your kids, anybody, have those open conversations. All these bad things you see going on in the world right now are because parents aren't talking to their kids like they used to. You got to be real. And that's my biggest thing I can say. Communication, communication, communication.
good answer. So I want to, and we're gonna wrap this up in a second, but I feel like parents do talk to their kids, but the wrong way.
Exactly. I
They are
agree.
trying to be more friends than parents, and it's all over the place, and it kills me.
Mm-hmm. Nope,
When I
I
make a
agree.
rule for my kid, I make a rule, and it's for her protection, her safety, her whatever, even for her convenience. When she goes against it, I don't care. It's the
And that's
rules.
one struggle me and my wife have all the time. I'm usually the laid back guy. She's the she's the enforcer when it comes to things. So it's walking that fine line of letting them know they can talk to you about anything, but also know if they're not doing the right thing, there's going to be repercussions for it.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right, Rob.
No, wrap it up. No, that. Oh,
What
go
do you
ahead.
got? What?
No, you were supposed to wrap it up. You said that was the last comment. So
Oh, I thought you were going to close it off, and then I'll finish the end of it. You have your
I
closing
did
remarks?
finish it off already. I did the closing already.
Oh, what the hell
The
happened?
recap, the
All right, all right.
reflection, and the challenge.
All right, great. Awesome. My bad. I screwed up. Anyway, whether you've been with us from the beginning or you're just tuning in, thank you. Wow. Go to northmancoaching.com and get your free ebook. Sign up for our men's group or join us on our men's group Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, where we get together. There's no judgment. We just talk. We talk about whatever's on our mind. We have a challenging question every week for everyone to answer, just to kind of break the ice open. So join us on Thursdays. And man, I have something else to say. Oh, this is our last episode for masculinity in relationships. Starting next week in November, we are going to be going into wholeness and integration and how to live like the person that you want to be. So that's next week is live like you mean it. And that's it. So check us out on northmancoaching.com. And until next time, stand up, speak the truth, and above all, stay authentic.
Awesome.
1 second, I'm going to figure this out.